Welcome back to another episode of Low Tech Garage. I'm Josh, and today we're doing day one with the Cherry Bomb Charger. If you like muscle cars, and let's be honest, who doesn't? This is going to be an awesome build series. So take a second, hit that subscribe button because you're going to want to follow along with this. We've got a lot of cool plans, including a 440 and a 4-speed. Now, we literally rolled her into my driveway at 9:15 p.m. last night, and there she has sat. So this is literally the first look that we are getting at the car in daylight, where we get to crawl all over it and kind of find all of the deal of what we're getting into. So now let's do a real quick pros and cons breakdown of the car. Now, one of the big pros about this car is that it actually has a relatively fresh paint job on it. This thing has not been driving around, seeing a bunch of miles, getting sun damaged and all that stuff. From what I understand, this was actually a white car from the factory, and it's been very thoroughly painted. I mean, door jambs, everything. So this is a proper paint job where they didn't really miss anything. And one of the cons, as much as I really hate to even call it a con, Sonny did say that the paint job is not to his standards. I think it's pretty darn solid, honestly. It's actually pretty good, honestly. I mean, I think he's just got really, really high class when it comes to this stuff. I've seen some of his work, so it may not meet the standards that he would normally go for, but I actually think it looks fantastic. I just need to take a minute to take off some of this compound here, but this comes right off with a little bit of hot water. Now for another pro. Much like the Chevy, it is a complete car. But unlike the Chevy, when I first got it, this one actually runs. But of course, there's a con that comes with this. As much as it is a complete car and it does run, it's a little rough around the edges. And I'm definitely gonna have to do some polishing around this to get it kind of where I want to, where I'd feel comfortable actually driving it on a regular basis. Also, it doesn't have an exhaust. Pro, new fuel tank. Con, not currently running off of the new fuel tank. Another pro, the headlights and taillights work. Con, they're pointing the wrong way, and we appear to be missing one of the motors that makes the rotating assembly work. So we'll have to figure that out. Pro, new wheels and tires that have never seen the road. Pretty cool, right? I mean, you can still see the sticker on the tire. And nothing on the inside of the rim where you'd normally expect to see some brake dust. Con, pretty sure these tires are very old and so probably are pretty much rock hard. Yeah. So, pro for the interior, it's pretty well complete. I think there's very few parts missing. I think I'm missing the inside of the glove box maybe. I honestly have not gone through all of the trim and interior panels which are in the car here. But generally looks good. Couple cons, but things that we can work through. The steering wheel split. Looks like the lenses on the dash could use a polish just to get them back to being properly transparent instead of cloudy. Missing a gas pedal. The carpet is actually new. Don't mind the sand. That just happened while we were getting it ready and loaded on the trailer and everything. But generally, pretty solid interior. Minor con, it's a little bit smelly. But I have a feeling that when I take all that back out, clean everything thoroughly, paint up a couple more pieces in there, really just give it a proper clean down, I think that'll go away. It just smells a little bit musty. Also, he was kind enough to give me a battery with the car. It was dead at the time, and he just said, hey, just needs a charge, and actually, yeah, it just needed a charge. I charged it overnight, and it started the car just fine. You just saw that a moment ago. So, as you can probably tell, I have my work cut out for me. Just at a glance, you can see there's tons of little things that I'm gonna have to do on the car just to basically get it to the spec that I want it to be at. But the cool thing is there's a very small number of things that I have to do before I can get this thing basically just to where I can cruise around in it and actually enjoy it. Versus the Chevy, where it took me a year and a half before its first drive. That was a long grind before I actually got to enjoy driving and cruising around in the car. So I think we're going to call that the end of the video for now. I got a lot more research to do. We'll get you some more detailed information on the car soon as far as what the trim tag says, everything like that. We'll poke around underneath it and see if we can figure out a bit more about the rear end, stuff like that. But for the time being, we at least learned a little bit about the car, what we're dealing with, and I can start doing a lot of research, looking up some parts, and kind of coming up with a roadmap of how we're all going to tackle all the little projects. But again, that is just a stunning machine. I mean, you can't tell me that is not just a super tough, super pretty looking car. So do me a favor, take 1 second, hit that like button. please, really helps us out. It would mean the world to us. It just lets people know this is great content, and it'll help other people see the beginnings of a great project. We want a bunch of people to follow along with this and see the cool stuff we do with it. And again, you hitting that like button is going to push it out to where other people can see it and enjoy it. If you really like this car and you want to see the progress, again, if you want to see a big block and a 4-speed go in this thing, definitely hit that subscribe button and consider hitting that notification bell as well, because that way you'll receive a notification when the next video comes out and you can see what we're doing with this thing. So thank you for your time, and we'll catch you on the next one.